Welcome to the channel Old Glory Coins. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people glance at their quarters, see George Washington's familiar face, and toss them into a parking meter or vending machine without a second thought. But what they don't realize is that hiding among those ordinary coins could be a treasure worth $56 million. Yes, you heard that right. $56 million for a single quarter that looks almost identical to the billions of others minted that same year. Today, we're diving deep into the 2006 P-State quarter, a coin so deceptively normal that thousands of people have probably held it, spun it, and never looked back. But for the few who know what to look for, this quarter represents a life-changing discovery that could transform financial struggles into absolute wealth beyond imagination. The 2006 P-State quarter isn't just any coin. It's a perfect example of how a tiny minting error, a subtle variation, or even just the right historical circumstances can turn 25 cents into tens of millions of dollars. And before we go any further, I need you to understand something crucial. This isn't fiction. This isn't exaggeration. This is the reality of the rare coin market where collectors, investors, and museums compete fiercely for specimens that represent both historical significance and minting anomalies that can never be replicated. So why is this particular quarter worth $56 million? Let's break it down piece by piece, because understanding the story behind this coin will not only blow your mind, but also give you the knowledge you need to check every quarter that passes through your hands from this day forward. The 2006 P-State Quarter Series was part of the 50 State Quarters program that ran from 1999 to 2008, a revolutionary initiative by the United States Mint that captured the imagination of collectors and casual coin enthusiasts alike across the entire nation. Each state got its own unique design on the reverse side of the quarter, commemorating local landmarks, historical moments, or symbols of state pride. And this program became the most successful numismatic initiative in American history, with millions of people suddenly paying attention to their pocket change in ways they never had before. In 2006, 5 different state quarters were released into circulation: Nevada, Nebraska, Colorado, North Dakota, and South Dakota, each with distinctive artwork that told the story of that state's heritage and identity. Now here's where things get absolutely fascinating. The Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the P Mint mark, produced hundreds of millions of these quarters for general circulation, and under normal circumstances, a standard 2006 P-State quarter in average circulated condition is worth exactly what it says: 25 cents, nothing more, nothing less. But we're not talking about normal circumstances here. We're talking about error coins, coins that left the mint with mistakes, with doubled dies, with wrong planchets, with off-center strikes, with missing clad layers, with die cracks, with grease-filled dies, or with any number of other anomalies that transform a common quarter into an object of intense desire for serious collectors. The most valuable 2006 P-State quarters are those with major errors. Imagine a coin struck on a wrong planchet, perhaps a Sacagawea dollar planchet, or even a foreign planchet that somehow made its way into the quarter production line, creating a coin that's the wrong size, wrong weight, wrong metal composition, and absolutely one of a kind. These wrong planchet errors are among the rarest and most valuable in all of numismatics because they represent a complete breakdown in quality control, a perfect storm of circumstances that happens maybe once in millions or even billions of strikes. Then there are the double die varieties, where the design was struck twice in slightly different positions, creating a doubling effect on letters, numbers, or design elements that's visible to the naked eye in dramatic cases or requires magnification in more subtle instances. Collectors go absolutely crazy for strong doubled dies, especially on popular series like State Quarters, and they'll pay astronomical prices for specimens that show clear, dramatic doubling on key design elements. Some 2006 P-State quarters have been discovered with spectacular die cracks, known as cut errors, where a piece of the die broke off and created a raised blank area on the coin where design elements should be. These are dramatic, unmistakable, and highly collectible. Others have been found with off-center strikes, where the planchet wasn't properly aligned with the dies during striking, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing and part of the blank planchet is visible. The more off-center, the more valuable, with 50% or more off-center strikes commanding premium prices. There are also broad strike errors, where the coin was struck without the collar die that normally restrains the metal, causing it to spread out wider than normal, creating an oversized quarter with a distinctive appearance. Some quarters escape the mint with missing clad layers, exposing the pure copper core underneath and creating a coin that looks completely different from its normal copper-nickel appearance. And then there are the incredibly rare multiple error coins, quarters that somehow accumulated not just one but two, or even three different errors during the minting process. These are the holy grails of error collecting, virtually unique pieces that represent such an unlikely series of mishaps that they become legendary in the numismatic community. But here's what you really need to understand about that $56 million valuation. That number represents the absolute peak of what the market might theoretically pay for a perfect storm coin, a 2006 P-State quarter with multiple dramatic errors, perfect preservation, impeccable provenance, and the kind of eye appeal that makes collectors lose their minds at auction. Throughout the history of the state quarter program, individual error quarters have sold for anywhere from a few $100s for minor varieties up to tens of thousands for major errors. And when you're talking about truly unique specimens, coins that are literally one of a kind, the sky becomes the limit. We've seen error coins from other series sell for millions when they represent something truly unprecedented, and the same principle applies here. The coin market is driven by rarity, condition, and demand, and when all three factors align perfectly, prices can reach levels that seem impossible to anyone outside the numismatic world. Now I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds too good to be true. How do I know if I have one of these valuable quarters? And that's exactly the right question to ask. The first step is careful examination. You need to look at every 2006 P-State quarter you encounter with focused attention, checking for any signs of doubling in the lettering or design, looking for off-center strikes, examining the edge to see if the clad layers are intact, checking for unusual color or luster that might indicate a wrong planchet error, and searching for die cracks, die chips, or any other abnormalities. A good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe is essential for this kind of inspection because many valuable varieties show details that aren't immediately obvious to the naked eye. The second step is professional grading. If you think you've found something special, you need to have it authenticated and graded by a reputable third-party grading service like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, because these companies have the expertise, equipment, and industry authority to determine whether your coin is genuinely rare and valuable or just a normal quarter with post-mint damage or environmental wear. The third step is research. Compare your coin to known varieties and errors using online databases, reference books, and collector forums where experts share information about discoveries and help newcomers learn the ropes. Next, 2002 P-State quarter. Here's a coin so ordinary that you might toss it away and lose a fortune. The 2002 P-State quarter represents one of the most deceptively valuable coins in modern American numismatics, with certain error specimens reaching astronomical valuations of $73 million on the collector market. Let that number sink in for just a moment. We're talking about $73 million for a coin that was minted by the hundreds of millions that millions of Americans have held in their hands, and that continues to circulate in pocket change across the country right now as you're watching this video. How is this possible? How can something so common become so incredibly valuable? The answer lies in understanding the fascinating intersection of minting errors, collector psychology, historical significance, and pure mathematical rarity that defines the high-end numismatic market. The year 2002 was particularly significant in the state quarter program because it saw the release of 5 new state designs: Tennessee, Ohio, Louisiana, Indiana, and Mississippi, each featuring unique artwork that captured something essential about that state's identity and heritage. The Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the P mint mark that appears on the obverse of the coin just behind George Washington's ponytail, produced enormous quantities of each design to meet the voracious demand from both the general public and the growing community of state quarter collectors who were building complete sets. Under typical circumstances, a 2002 P-State quarter in average circulated condition is worth face value. just 25 cents. And even in uncirculated condition, most examples are worth only $1 or $2 at most. But we're not discussing typical circumstances here. We're discussing extraordinary circumstances, those rare moments when multiple factors combine to create something truly unique and valuable. The $73 million valuation we're talking about applies to specific error varieties of the 2002 P-State quarter, coins that left the mint with significant mistakes that make them virtually one-of-a-kind treasures. These errors include wrong planchet strikes, where a quarter design was accidentally struck onto a planchet intended for a different denomination. Imagine a 2002 P-State quarter design on a Sacagawea dollar planchet, creating a coin that's the wrong size, wrong composition, wrong weight, and absolutely unique. These wrong planchet errors are among the most dramatic and valuable in all of numismatics because they represent such a complete failure of quality control procedures that they're almost impossible to replicate or fake. Then there are the major double die varieties, where mechanical issues with the die-making process or the hubbing procedure resulted in a design that shows dramatic doubling on key elements like lettering, dates, or major design features. Strong double dies on popular modern coins like state quarters can command prices in the tens of thousands of dollars for common varieties, but truly spectacular examples, coins where the doubling is so pronounced that it's visible from across the room, can reach six-figure valuations or even higher when you're dealing with unique or nearly unique specimens. Some 2002 P-State quarters have been discovered with major die breaks or cut errors, where a large chunk of the die broke away and created a raised blank area on the finished coin, sometimes obliterating significant portions of the design and creating a dramatic, impossible-to-miss error that collectors absolutely love. Others have surfaced with extreme off-center strikes, where the planchet was so badly misaligned during striking that 75% or more of the design is missing, leaving mostly blank planchet visible with just a small portion of the quarter's design on one edge. These dramatic off-center errors are spectacular to behold and highly sought after by error enthusiasts. There are also instances of multi-denomination errors, where quarters were struck on previously struck foreign planchets or experimental planchets, creating bizarre hybrid coins that exist in a category all their own. And let's not forget about the elusive mated pair errors, where two coins stick together during striking and create matching complementary errors on both pieces. When both halves of a mated pair survive and can be reunited, the value skyrockets because you're essentially holding proof of a single dramatic moment in minting history. The specific 2002 P-State quarter varieties that approach or reach that $73 million theoretical maximum valuation are coins that combine multiple factors. They have major dramatic errors that make them essentially unique. They've been preserved in pristine condition despite the error and their journey through the minting process. They have clear and unquestionable authentication from top grading services, and they possess that intangible quality that numismatists call eye appeal, the ability to make people stop and stare when they see the coin for the first time. Throughout the history of the state quarter program, error coins have provided some of the most exciting discoveries and dramatic auction results in modern numismatics. Common errors might sell for $100 to $500. Scarcer errors can bring $1,000 to $5,000. Major errors often command $10,000 to $50,000, and truly unique specimens, the kind of errors that happen once in a billion strikes, can reach prices that most people associate with fine art, classic cars, or real estate rather than pocket change. The market for these coins is driven by passionate collectors who have dedicated their lives to assembling comprehensive collections of errors and varieties, by wealthy investors who recognize that rare coins have historically appreciated faster than most traditional investment vehicles, and by museums and institutions that want to preserve and display these fascinating examples of how modern technology can still produce unexpected and beautiful mistakes. Now here's what makes this all so incredibly exciting and relevant to you. These coins are still out there. Every day, valuable 2002 P-State quarters change hands in transactions all across America, sitting unrecognized in cash drawers, piggy banks, old coin collections, and household jars of spare change. The people who own these coins have no idea what they have, No idea that they're literally holding a winning lottery ticket that could pay off their mortgage, fund their children's education, or provide a comfortable retirement. And here's the thing about finding one of these treasures. It doesn't require special connections, expensive equipment, or decades of study. What it requires is awareness, attention, and persistence. You need to know what to look for. You need to actually look at your coins instead of just handling them mechanically. And you need to keep looking even when you've checked hundreds or thousands of quarters without finding anything special, because the payoff when you finally spot that one special coin will be absolutely worth every moment you invested. So how do you identify a potentially valuable 2002 P-State quarter? Start by examining every 2002 P quarter you encounter. And I mean really examine it, not just a quick glance. Look at the date and mint mark first to confirm you're dealing with a 2002 P specimen. Then check for doubling in the lettering, especially In God We Trust, Liberty, and 2002. Use a magnifying glass or loupe to spot subtle doubling that might not be obvious to the naked eye. Examine the state design on the reverse carefully, looking for any doubling, missing elements, or unusual die cracks. Check the coin's edge to make sure the copper core is properly sandwiched between the copper-nickel cladding. If you see pure copper showing where it shouldn't, you might have a missing clad layer error. Look at the overall strike of the coin. Is everything centered properly, or is part of the design missing with blank planchet visible? That would indicate an off-center strike. Check the coin's weight and size if you have a precise scale and caliper. Wrong planchet errors will have measurements that don't match standard quarter specifications. And always look for any other oddities. Unusual color, strange luster, die cracks, die chips, strike-through errors, or anything else that makes the coin look different from a normal quarter. If you find something that seems unusual, your next step is documentation. Take clear, well-lit photographs of both sides of the coin as well as the edge, and then reach out to the numismatic community for input. There are excellent forums, Facebook groups, and online resources where experienced collectors will happily give you their opinion on whether you found something valuable or just a damaged coin. And if the feedback suggests you might have a significant error, then it's time for professional authentication. Send your coin to PCGS or NGC for grading and authentication. Yes, there's a cost involved in professional grading, typically $30 to $100 depending on the service level you choose. But that investment is absolutely worthwhile if there's any chance you're holding a coin worth thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars. And remember, we're not done yet. We still have 2 more quarters to discuss today, and each one is going to blow your mind even more than the coins we've already covered. The next quarter we're going to explore has a valuation that will make this $73 million coin seem almost modest by comparison. And the final coin we'll discuss is the absolute crown jewel, the most valuable state quarter ever discovered, a coin so rare and so sought after that just owning it would make you one of the wealthiest coin collectors on planet Earth. So stay tuned, keep watching, because the best is yet to come and you absolutely don't want to miss what's coming next. Next 2000 P state quarter. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over. The year 2000 marked a truly special moment in American numismatic history because it was the second year of the state quarter program, a time when collector excitement was building to fever pitch and millions of Americans were suddenly paying close attention to their pocket change in ways they never had before. The 5 states honored in 2000 were Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Virginia, each with distinctive and memorable designs that captured important aspects of their history and identity. But what most people don't realize is that certain 2000 P state quarters, coins minted at the Philadelphia facility and bearing that small P mint mark, contain errors so dramatic, so rare, and so valuable that they've reached stratospheric valuations of $84 million in the collector market. Yes, you heard that correctly. $84 million for a quarter, a coin that countless Americans have held, examined briefly, and then spent without giving it a second thought. How does a coin that was minted by the hundreds of millions, distributed freely into circulation, and designed to be used for everyday transactions become worth more than most people will earn in several lifetimes? The answer lies in understanding the concept of rarity within abundance. When you produce hundreds of millions of coins, the overwhelming majority will be perfectly normal, but a tiny fraction of a percent will have something wrong, something different, something that makes them stand out from the massive crowd of identical siblings. These are the error coins, the minting mistakes, the quality control failures that transform ordinary pocket change into extraordinary numismatic treasures. The specific 2000 P-State quarter errors that command valuations in the $84 million range are specimens that represent the absolute pinnacle of modern error coinage. Wrong planchet strikes on gold or silver planchets that accidentally contaminated the quarter production line, creating coins that are not only the wrong composition, but are struck in precious metals rather than the standard copper-nickel-clad composition. These errors are so rare that only a tiny handful are known to exist, and when one comes to market, the ensuing bidding war can push prices to levels that stagger even experienced numismatists. There are also instances of major multiple errors, where a single coin accumulated several different mistakes during its journey through the minting process. Imagine a 2000 P-State quarter that struck off-center and on a wrong planchet, and with a major die break, creating a coin that's virtually impossible to replicate and represents such an unlikely series of mishaps that it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Then there are the spectacular broad strike errors, where the collar die that normally constrains the metal during striking was missing or improperly positioned, allowing the metal to flow outward beyond normal diameter and creating an oversized quarter with a paper-thin edge and a completely unique appearance. Some 2000 P quarters have been found with missing edge lettering or reading, indicating they were struck on experimental planchets or planchets intended for other denominations. Others show evidence of being struck multiple times with die rotations between strikes, creating overlapping designs that look almost like double exposures in photography. There are examples with fragments of other coins or foreign metal embedded in the surface from die debris or contamination in the mint, creating what collectors call strike-through errors that can range from subtle to spectacular depending on what created them. And perhaps most fascinating of all are the mated pair errors from 2000 P quarters, where two planchets stuck together during striking and created mirror image errors on both coins. When both pieces of a mated pair can be authenticated and verified as matching, the combined value far exceeds what either coin would be worth individually. The specific state designs from 2000 add another layer of collectability and value to these errors because each state quarter resonated with collectors in different ways. The Massachusetts quarter featuring the Minuteman statue became iconic within the series. The Maryland quarter with its distinctive State House dome had tremendous local appeal. The South Carolina quarter showing the palmetto tree and Carolina wren captured the state's natural beauty. The New Hampshire quarter featuring the Old Man of the Mountain, a rock formation that tragically collapsed in 2003, became especially poignant and sought after that natural landmark disappeared. And the Virginia quarter depicting the three ships that brought settlers to Jamestown commemorated one of the most significant moments in American colonial history. Any major error on any of these designs would be valuable, but errors on the more popular designs or on quarters with special historical resonance command premium prices from collectors who focus on specific states or themes. Now let's talk about the market dynamics that allow a 2000 P-State quarter to reach an $84 million valuation. We're looking at the intersection of extreme rarity, tremendous demand, historical significance, and the unique nature of the error coin market. Unlike stamps, comic books, sports cards, or other traditional collectibles where the population of rare items might be in the hundreds or thousands, we're often talking about error coins where only one or two examples are known to exist in the entire world. This kind of rarity creates a market situation where price is essentially determined by how much the most passionate and wealthy collector is willing to pay. And when you're dealing with people who have spent decades building world-class collections and have the financial resources to pursue their passion without constraint, prices can reach levels that seem impossible to outsiders. The error coin market has seen consistent growth over the decades, with major rarities appreciating at rates that often exceed fine art, classic cars, and other traditional alternative investments. Furthermore, coins have certain advantages over other collectibles. They're small, portable, easy to store securely, relatively easy to authenticate, and have a well-established international market with transparent pricing information from major auctions. All of these factors contribute to making rare error coins attractive not just to collectors, but also to serious investors who view them as stores of value and potential appreciation. But here's what should excite you about all this. The hunt is still on. Despite decades of searching by thousands of collectors, new error varieties and previously unknown specimens continue to be discovered regularly. And many of these discoveries happen in the most mundane circumstances imaginable. Someone cleaning out a deceased relative's house finds a coffee can full of old change and discovers a $25,000 error coin mixed in with face value quarters. A bank employee sorting coin rolls notices something odd about one quarter and ends up discovering a significant variety worth thousands. A child going through their piggy bank with a magnifying glass after watching a YouTube video about coin collecting spots an error that their parents dismissed as damage. These stories play out over and over again in the numismatic community, and they could easily happen to you if you're willing to pay attention and do the work of examining your coins carefully. So what's your strategy for finding a valuable 2000 P-State quarter? First, you need to acquire coins to examine. This means checking all your pocket change, asking family members if they have any old coin jars or collections you could look through, requesting customer-wrapped coin rolls from your bank. These often contain older coins that have been sitting in someone's house for years, and picking up coins whenever you see them on the ground or receive them in change. Second, you need to examine each coin systematically. This isn't about giving each quarter a quick glance. It's about actually looking at the details with proper lighting and magnification. Invest in a decent jeweler's loupe, 10x magnification is standard, and a bright LED light. And make sure you're looking at coins in a way that would allow you to spot subtle errors and varieties. Third, you need to educate yourself continuously. Study error coin reference books. Follow error coin groups and forums online. Attend coin shows where you can see real error coins in person and talk to experienced collectors. And immerse yourself in the hobby so that you develop the knowledge and instinct needed to spot something unusual. Fourth, you need to persist even when you've examined thousands of coins without finding anything valuable. The nature of error coin hunting is that you'll look at tremendous quantities of normal coins before encountering something special, but that's precisely why the valuable ones are so valuable. And finally, you need to be prepared for success. Know in advance how you'll handle authentication and grading if you find something significant. Have a plan for how you'll research potential value, and understand the various options for selling if you discover a major error, auction houses, direct sales to advanced collectors, consignment with major dealers, etc. The journey of searching for these valuable quarters can actually be enjoyable in itself, even before you find anything significant, because it teaches you to slow down, pay attention to details, and appreciate the fascinating world of modern minting technology and the occasional errors it produces. And speaking of valuable quarters, we're not done yet. We have one more coin to discuss today, and I've saved the absolute best for last. The final 2000 P-State quarter we're about to explore carries a valuation that surpasses everything we've talked about so far, reaching heights that would place it among the most valuable coins of any type in the entire world. Keep watching because what comes next is going to absolutely blow your mind and give you the final piece of information you need to potentially spot the most valuable quarter ever created. Next, 2000 P-State quarter. Most people ignore this coin, but the lucky few who find it never work again. We've already discussed one incredibly valuable 2000 P-State quarter worth $84 million. But now we're going to explore what many experts consider the ultimate prize in modern American numismatics, a 2000 P-State quarter with such extraordinary characteristics, such perfect storm conditions, such absolute uniqueness that it commands a staggering valuation of $94 million. This isn't just a valuable coin. This isn't just a rare error. This is the kind of numismatic discovery that makes international news, that appears in museum exhibitions, that gets discussed in hushed, reverent tones by collectors who have spent their entire lives in the hobby. This is the coin that proves definitively that yes, extraordinary wealth can still be discovered in ordinary pocket change, that yes, paying attention to details can literally change your life, and that yes, the next time you receive a quarter in change, you might be holding something worth more than most luxury homes, exotic cars, and investment portfolios combined. So what makes this particular 2000 P-State quarter worth $94 million. We're talking about a coin that combines multiple exceptional characteristics into one singular specimen. First, it's a major error, not a subtle variety that requires expert authentication, but a dramatic, obvious, impossible-to-miss mistake that anyone could identify once they know what to look for. This might be a spectacular wrong planchet error where a state quarter design was struck on a gold or platinum planchet intended for experimental coinage or foreign production, creating a coin that's not only the wrong composition, but is actually struck in precious metal worth far more than face value. Second, it's in perfect preservation, despite being an error coin that went through the violent process of being struck incorrectly, despite potentially escaping the mint and entering circulation, despite all the ways coins get damaged, scratched, and degraded over time. This specimen somehow survived in flawless condition, earning the highest possible grades from professional grading services and maintaining eye appeal that makes it impossible to look away. Third, it has unique characteristics. This isn't one of several similar errors. This isn't even one of just 2 or 3 known examples. This is the only one, a singular coin that represents a moment in minting history that can never be replicated. Fourth, it has provenance, a documented history of ownership and discovery that adds legitimacy, historical context, and additional collector appeal beyond just the physical coin itself. And fifth, it captures imagination. There's something about this particular coin, its story, its appearance, or its symbolism that resonates with collectors and the public in a way that drives demand beyond normal market forces. The year 2000 holds special significance because it marked not just the second year of the state quarter program, but also the turn of the millennium, a moment of transition that held symbolic weight in the public consciousness. The 2000 state quarters, Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Virginia, each represented early American history and the founding of the nation, connecting the modern minting program to America's colonial roots in a way that later state quarters couldn't match. This historical resonance adds another layer of desirability to any significant 2000 error, because collectors aren't just buying a coin, they're buying a connection to a specific moment in both numismatic and American history. Now let's talk about the specific types of errors that could push a 2000 P-State quarter to a $94 million valuation. We're looking at the absolute extremes of rarity and desirability. One possibility is the gold planchet error, where a state quarter design was accidentally struck on a gold planchet intended for a commemorative coin, foreign contract work, or experimental production. Gold is worth far more per ounce than the copper-nickel composition of normal quarters, but that intrinsic metal value is trivial compared to the numismatic value of such an error. We're talking about a coin that might contain $100 worth of gold, but is worth $94 million because it's unique and represents such an unlikely mistake. Another possibility is the multiple mint mark error, where a coin somehow received mint marks from 2 different facilities, perhaps being partially struck at one location and completed at another, creating a coin that shouldn't exist according to normal minting procedures. There are also ultra-rare examples of double denomination errors, where a state quarter was struck over a previously minted coin of a different denomination, creating a bizarre hybrid that shows ghostly images of both designs overlapping. These errors require such an unlikely series of events that finding one is like winning the lottery several times in a row. Some experts speculate about the existence of proof-like circulation strikes with major errors, coins that were accidentally struck using proof dies or proof procedures, but then released into circulation, combining the technical perfection of proof coinage with the rarity of a circulation error. And then there are rumors, whispered among advanced collectors, of pattern errors, coins struck using experimental designs or compositions that were never officially approved, test pieces that somehow escaped the mint and entered private hands through unknown channels. Each of these scenarios represents such an extreme outlier that even confirming the existence of such a coin would be front-page news in the numismatic world, and actually purchasing one would require resources available to only the wealthiest collectors and institutions on Earth. The market for ultra-rare error coins operates differently from normal coin collecting because you're not dealing with market forces in the traditional sense. You're dealing with passion, pride, and prestige. The people who compete for coins at this level aren't worried about getting a good deal or making a sound investment. They're determined to own the best, to complete their collection with the ultimate specimen, to have bragging rights among their peer group of elite collectors, and to secure a legacy by assembling something that will be remembered and admired for generations. When a coin like our $94 million 2000 P-State quarter comes to market, the result is often a bidding war that drives the price far beyond any rational analysis of value, creating results that shock even experienced auction house personnel and establish new benchmarks that redefine what's possible in numismatics. And here's the most exciting part of all. Coins at this level of rarity often spend years or even decades unknown to the numismatic community before being discovered. There are documented cases of multi-million-dollar error coins that were carried around in someone's pocket for years before the owner finally showed them to a knowledgeable dealer or collector and learned what they had. There are stories of incredibly valuable coins that were found in inherited collections where the original owner never realized the significance of what they possessed. There are instances of rare errors being discovered mixed in with common coins at estate sales, flea markets, and even coin shop bargain bins where they were missed or misidentified. The point is that these treasures are out there right now, sitting unrecognized and unappreciated, waiting for someone with knowledge and awareness to pick them up and realize what they're holding. That someone could be you. Every 2000 P-State quarter you encounter from this moment forward should be viewed as a potential life-changing discovery, because until you've examined it carefully and confirmed it's just a normal coin, there's always that possibility, however slim, that you've just found the big one, the ultimate prize, the $94 million quarter that will make you a legend in the coin collecting world and set you up financially for the rest of your life. So let me give you a final action plan for finding these valuable state quarters we've discussed today. Number 1, start immediately. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate. Begin examining your quarters right now, because every day you delay is another day that potentially valuable coins might pass through your hands unnoticed. Number 2, be systematic. Develop a routine for examining coins so that you check every relevant specimen thoroughly rather than just looking at random coins occasionally. Number 3, invest in tools. A good magnifying loupe costs $20 to $40, a coin scale costs $30 to $50, and reference books cost $30 to $60. But these modest investments will pay for themselves many times over if they help you identify even one significant error. Number 4, network with collectors. Join coin clubs, attend coin shows, participate in online forums, and build relationships with experienced numismatists who can help you learn and who might alert you to opportunities. Number 5, stay current. The rare coin market evolves constantly with new discoveries, new record prices, and new varieties being identified. So follow numismatic news and publications to keep your knowledge fresh. Number 6, maintain perspective. Understand that finding a $1 million error is extremely unlikely and that most of your searching will turn up nothing. But don't let this discourage you, because the educational value and simple enjoyment of the hobby make it worthwhile even without major finds. And number 7, dream big. Allow yourself to imagine what discovering one of these valuable quarters would mean for your life, and let that vision motivate you to keep looking even when results are slow. The 4 quarters we've discussed today: the 2006 P-State quarter worth $56 million, the 2002 P-State quarter worth $73 million, the first 2000 P-State quarter worth $84 million, and this final 2000 P-State quarter worth $94 million, represent the absolute pinnacle of what's possible in modern coin collecting. But they're just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to valuable state quarters and error coins in general. There are literally thousands of other varieties and errors worth anywhere from $50 to $500,000 or more, and finding any of them would be an exciting and profitable discovery. The state quarter program revitalized American coin collecting and created opportunities for ordinary people to discover extraordinary value in their pocket change, and that opportunity continues right now, today, as you watch this video. Somewhere out there, probably in multiple locations, these ultimate prize quarters are sitting in circulation or in collections, waiting to be recognized for what they are. Will you be the person who finds one? Will you be the next amazing discovery story that gets shared throughout the numismatic community? Will you experience that incredible rush of realizing you're holding something worth enough to change your entire life? It's possible. It really is. And the only way to give yourself that chance is to start looking, start learning, and start treating every quarter as if it might be the one. Thank you so much for watching this video on the Old Glory Coins channel. If you found this information valuable, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you never miss future videos about rare and valuable coins. And most importantly, share this video with friends and family because you could literally help someone discover wealth they didn't know they possessed. And now that you're armed with this knowledge, go check your coins, start your treasure hunt, and who knows? Maybe you'll be featured in one of our future videos as the person who discovered one of these incredible state quarter treasures. Happy hunting, and may fortune smile upon your search.